Hi, this is Anjy, this is Tony, and welcome to Anjy and Tony's Creative Retirement. Well, in retirement, there are many forms of creativity. And for us, we also not only paint and musician and different things going on, but we're also very creative when it comes to our household of doing do-it-yourself projects, but we're creative. Our house needed a new bathroom. Desperately in need of a new bathroom, but the shower was older, but we didn't want it was working fine. We didn't want to pull all that whole shower out, so we sort of looked at it for a while and figured how we're going to do this. And Tony, who is the master at figuring creative things out, and he's got his own ideas. We are thrifters from way back, and we ended up redoing this bathroom totally, and we're going to show you what we did creatively. I think, how much did our bathroom cost in the end to do it?
Oh, I don't know, not very much, but there's something else important here.
What was that?
I want to mention that when I do something, if it works, and it's got to be really, really outdated and have poor performance before I change it. I won't change it because of the looks or because I want a new color or a new style. I refuse to do that because I've been to the dump too many times and I see what goes on there. It's terrible, and it's just getting worse and worse. You know, they change colors and then everybody changes their kitchens and all. I don't believe in any of that. What we like to do is we like to recreate and give the functionality new look, and so that's kind of what we did with this bathroom.
Well, you may wonder why I am showing you a toilet and an old sink and old taps here and a lot of debris here. Well, we are renovating our bathroom, and because we are the ultimate thrifters, I'm going to show you what I did to that bathroom, or should I say what Tony did, because today I'm helping him on some other projects, and I'm going to show you the bathroom, but we are working on a mirror today. So I bought this mirror from Restore. It was $15. And Tony set it up all out here so that I can sand it, and we're going to put it into our new bathroom. So it's got a finish on it here, so I'm taking that off with a sander, and I'm going to put black onto it. So now the mirror has been sanded. I will just check it all to see if there's anything I've missed, and then I'm going to take black paint and rub it over. Paint, acrylic paint, and it's mixed with water. So what I'm doing is I'm rubbing it on here like a stain, and got it painted on here, and I'm working quite quickly because I don't want the edges to stain and leave a mark. So, and then I'm rubbing it. If I want it darker, I'll go over it a second time. Okay, I have got this on. I've got to let it dry, and the edges here, what I was putting on was too dark on the little side here, but I hope you can see that. So I'm going to wait till it dries and then I'm going to finish that. What I realized was the edges were too black inside here, so I had to tone it down a bit, and I couldn't quite get that. So what I'm doing is I'm putting brown paint on it. I'm putting brown paint and I'm rubbing it, and if you can see it close, it gives it this one more brown, and when this all dries I'll clean it up. Now, this here, where the paint is, I don't have to worry about this because that's all gonna come off, right? Afterwards, when I deal with that. But now I want to tone it down just a little. So what I'm doing is I'm putting some black on here. It's just a cheap black paint. And what I'm doing is I'm just rubbing it on like this. And I think that gives it a little bit more interest, but you got to work it fast here. It's in the area here I don't really want. Okay, can you see just on the edge? So I'm going to come here with this paint here. And how I do it, I've got a rag and I'm going to rub it on. And you're kind of rubbing it on and rubbing it off. Yeah, I'm going to rub the edges. So it's getting it back to a darker color here. So what I put on it so far, okay, I put, and you might want to put copper, you might want to put gold on it, but you just keep rubbing it once you've got your color, but make sure you don't have those streaks on it, and it's kind of turning it into a more interesting color here. And you know, more pitted. Getting ready to hang this now, so now we've got to measure it and get it exactly in the mirror where we want it to go. So this is the $15 mirror that I have finished. Got to finish cleaning it now. So Tony, this is pretty cool. What have you got here?
Well, I'm gonna make something for our new bathroom to hang above the biffy.
Okay.
It's gonna be something funky.
So Tony and I have been doing sculptures with musical instruments for quite a long time, and I'm going to be showing you some of them that we've made. We had access to, fortunately, to a number of musical instruments, and we now have picked these out, and Tony's going to build a sculptural art piece to go behind our wall in our new bathroom. But it's interesting to use musical instruments.
Ooh, I like that one.
Ooh.
What do you think?
That's kind of cool.
Why? Violin head.
Violin head. So that, you know what that reminds me of? Put it back up there. That reminds me when I was a kid taking lessons from, I think his name was Mr. Jackman. And Mr. Jackson, that was his name. We had violin lessons, and that was the kind of face, and my head was like that, and I hated going there. So that's why I never learned to play the violin.
The door is a flat panel, white. Many people would say ugly door, but I didn't see it that way. I saw it as a canvas. I've always seen flat doors as a canvas.
So I'm just going into Tony's little studio here, and he's creating something. As I said, we're doing a bathroom renovation project, and he's got our door. He took it out. He is sanding it down. Here we go. He actually
50 years old.
50 years old.
50 years old, and it's mahogany core, and it's got a few coats of paint on it, and I've just about finished getting it to where I like it. I use this orbital sander, and I just cleaned it, so I don't think you need to see that. But what you do need to see, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this spray primer on this, because there's so many different levels here. There's bare wood, there's one type of paint, there's another type of paint. This Kilz, this K-I-L-Z primer will even out the surface, and it'll prevent it from delaminating, and it'll I'll be able to put a regular coat of latex over top of that after.
So what will the end project do? Did I hear that you were going to try to put a design on the back of the door?
This is going to be a piece of artwork.
Okay, so this is Anjy and Tony here, and not only do we do a lot of creative projects, but in retirement we find other things to keep us busy. So rather than buy a new door, Tony has this great idea that he wants to paint this door for the bathroom, but wants to put a subtle design on the back. So we're going to see how this works, because we've never done it before, and it's going to be probably a one-time project, and so we learn as we go.
Now you hear this little ball inside this. There's a little metal ball in here. If you all don't know what it does. The ball rolls back and forth and it mixes up the paint inside the can.
So I'm going to leave you do this, and I'm going to come back later and see where you're at, because I do not have a mask on, so I do not want to be in here when I don't have a mask. And Tony will probably open that door for ventilation as well. So I'll come back when he's working on this.
So I like to go up and down with my roller. Some go sideways, crossways. I like going up and down because it leaves a better texture.
And I wanted to say as well, when Tony and I do a projects, it's not as if we've done this 50 times. We have an idea of something and then we learn as we go. What's the worst scenario? That this doesn't work? Well, hey, we can paint over it.
I've never done this before, just so you know.
So his goal is...
doors before.
So Tony's goal is he's going to have a design on this door for our renovated bathroom, and he wants to put leaves and trees on it, but we'll see how it works. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic when it's finished, but we don't know quite how it's going to look because it's a process.
Yeah, everybody, I got a leaf here. So what I want to do is, I'm doing a little test panel here, and I'm going to try and transfer that image onto this board here, and if that works, then I'm going to do an art design on this door. So I've primed this door, I've primed this, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of finished coats on this door, and then we'll go from there.
So you're just dropping black in there?
Just dropping black in there.
Into the white, and and this is an acrylic household paint. That's all we're using here. Mixing up grey. I'm stopping.
Okay, that's going to be dark enough now, don't you?
I think I would add a couple more drops, because it's gone on the white, so we need it a little darker to make an impact. I think I put a little bit more, and I'd add some brown to make it a warm grey. You can always add more, but you can't take it out once you put it in.
Right.
now we're dropping brown into it. I just want to say, these little tubes of paint, they're sample jars. And if you find a paint color you like, you just go to Home Depot, Rona, whatever country you've got a paint store. They sell you these little samples. In our country, in Canada, where we are, we can get these sample paints for, I think they used to be about 5, they're probably 10 now. And it's great for testing out colors and adding to things. So we've got brown coming in here. So what this is doing is making it a warmer gray. We now mixed 2 shades, the same thing, adding more black and brown. So we've got a light shade and a dark shade, and we're just testing it out to see if it'll work. So we now have 3 different shades here. I'm going to see how this is going to work out.
My thoughts are the trees aren't perfect with regards to color. They're all different shades in here, so I'm going to mix the 3 randomly on here. And then I'm going to lay it on that board. So let's give it a go.
This could be your ultimate disaster.
Well, we need to have something. There's going to be paint all over the place here. Does it matter?
Not on that thing, it doesn't. We're going to have paint anyway. It's going to be kind of interesting. I really am not quite sure how this is going to work. But hey, let's give it a try. Whoa, this is a messy job. I think there's a better way to do this, but we haven't figured it out. But hey, if we don't do it, we'll never know, will we? Okay, here it goes, I guess. Oh, that's kind of cool. Do another one. Kind of interesting. Not super interesting. It didn't look like the other video we saw how they did it, but I think it could be okay. Okay, I'm going to try one more thing, Tony, here. Okay, trying something different here. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like crazy people. So we think it's got potential, but now we're going to add this and see if we roll it here, what would happen with rolling it. Oh, that's cool. Next experiment, try with a different branch. Not doing it for me. So this is just an experiment that Tony is doing here with some leaves. He's painting them and he's going to try to put them onto this board, and he's just testing it out because what he wants to do is paint this whole door here and have a kind of cool leaf pattern on it. So he's working on that. Let's see how this works, Tony.
Nothing like a little bit of blues while you're working. Is there? Well, that didn't work.
Well, he thinks it didn't work, but I think it did. Because I think it's a nice shape, and I think he has to go in it afterwards with a bit of a paintbrush. But let's experiment and then we'll see what we come up with for the main. Can't really see all the patterns here, but we're coming up with something where we're putting it on and rubbing it off to get some different leaf patterns. We decided we didn't like the ones we had, so we rubbed them off, but it seems that there's some interesting things happening now. I think this could look pretty cool.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
I love these. That's what bark does.
So we're putting stuff on here and we're washing it off, but this is just a sample. So let's just zoom in here of these marks. So that looks pretty cool there. Now, that's a little sample, but here's the whole door that we have to do now. Okay.
But it's a fun project, it's not.
So we're going to start this door now. So the first thing Tony's doing is drawing in where we think the trees on this are going to be. We're using a chalk marker because it'll rub off. So we're going to go ahead and do this door, which is going to be our new bathroom door. Keep our fingers crossed that it works. So here we are. Actually, that's kind of cool. That's you on the sax, isn't it, that's playing now?
Yep.
When you were playing with the hot tamales.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's Tony on the sax playing. So we are now going to do the next part of this door, and we have white, and we're adding some black into it. We're going to mix that up so we'll have a grey. And we're not quite sure what the color is going to be. If it's the right grey or enough, we'll test it. That's cool, Tony. It's going to be a nice color. So we've got a nice grey here color, and we're going to test it because the acrylic is going to dry darker, so we may need it a little darker, but that we're going to test.
But
so Tony is adding a couple of black spots onto the spatula as well. Can I just see what you're doing there? Okay. Let's see how this works. So he's pulling this across with a spatula, and we're going to try to make a birch tree that goes all the way up here. So you're probably wondering, why do we pat it down? Well, the reason we did that is because we end up with less predictable marks on it, and it makes it just a little bit more interesting. Otherwise it's just too predictable, I think. Okay, this is why I've got terrible nails, terrible hands, because I keep forgetting to put my gloves on. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm spraying it. You're asking, why did she put it on and why did she spray it? Because you'll have some interesting things like in here that I'm pulling out. Can you see? And I'm gonna go, I've just got a little bit more interest in there. We'll go back in with some of it afterwards, toning it down just a little, you know, just with the birch. And we have to do it, I spray it so that it's enough to get it off. So I think that's good.
I love the look of that.
I think that's nice. We might have to go back in it with black afterwards. Okay, so let's start the next part.
But I love birch trees anyways.
I know you do. Okay. So Tony, how are we going to do the next part? And what are we doing?
Okay, what we're going to do is, here I have a box of leaves. And what we're going to do is we're going to put an imprint of leaves along the top of the birch trees.
Okay, that'd be pretty cool. And are you going to just paint them, or how are you going to do that?
I'll show you.
So what we are doing now is we're putting leaf shapes on the top part of the door here. And we're going to, here's a lovely one. We're going to change up the color as we go a little bit.
So here's,
now
I'm
here,
coating this one here. I
okay.
want to show them how I'm doing this.
Okay, here we are,
Now
Tony.
when I coat it, you got to make sure that you use the spliny side of the leaf, where the splines are more prominent. And when you put it on, you want to have a lot of paint on your brush. Make it minimal, just to cover it. Because what happens if you put too much on, it'll splurt out along the edges, and you don't want that. So you just want a thin coat on that leaf, and you want to make sure you get to the tips. Okay? So now you take this, and I want one right over this. Kind of going off the page. So what I do now is I press all the way around the edges. And then I push the splines. And just keep going around the leaf. Nice and easy. Hey, I wrote this song. Anjy?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this was on the playlist. Okay. And then you just simply peel it off. It's a beautiful imprint.
Now, for those of you who said that these are the wrong leaves for a birch tree, it doesn't matter. We're doing an abstract pattern here with leaves, and we've got something else that's going on the final stage. When you pull it off, it's like a kind of big reveal, isn't it? You don't really know what's going to be underneath.
Well, it is. This one here, I've already stamped one with it, so this is going to be a light one, but we don't know. I should try. Oh,
Love the patterns.
I love this leaf. I just love the forest anyways. It's one of my happiest places. Being right in the forest.
Okay, here's the door. We're going to do some tweaking and touching up on it. Oh, there's a little face poking out from behind the door. Okay, looking good. So what we'll do is we'll do some touch-ups on it, you know, but we're going to let it dry first and see what we're going to do with it. So this took quite a bit of experimenting to see what we wanted here. But isn't that what art is about? You experiment. Some work, some don't. I have so many paintings that don't work. But this is kind of looking cool now. It really is looking cool. The key when you're doing this is not to keep smudging over what you've done. So you have to hold it kind of tight and flatten it down on it. Yeah. So now you end up with these beautiful marks that look like grasses.
Ooh.
And this now, I think Tony wants to put a couple more on it. It's his project. So he's going to go gung-ho on this. And I'm going to come in with some different darker marks, very subtle, to bring it out. Remember, we're going to have a towel hanging up there. This is the back of the door. And it's kind of looking cool. You might ask, why are we doing this? Number one, because we can. Number two, we love repurposing things. And we could have got new doors and had them hang and all this, but this is kind of cool, I think. We have a funky house. So here is our repurposed bathroom. First of all, an old door we painted, and here's the bathroom in here. So we had an older shower. We wanted to tie it in with the colors. Shower worked absolutely fine. So we wanted to make it look more modern with the stuff, a little funky. Picked up this vanity here, picked it up on Facebook Marketplace for $2.50. I had to buy new taps because there's always something you have to buy. We picked up this mirror for $15 from a restore, and we just refinished it. Put in a violin, funky little violin sculpture, put in new lights, and bought some more little hooks and things here, and redid the floor. Tony redid the floor. He's a very handy little man. That's what when I met him, I said, have you got a truck? Have you got a chainsaw? Well, he could do anything. So here is our new bathroom that cost very little to redo. We did have to bring in a plumber for it, but this is our new bathroom. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you like this, press that subscribe button and press the notification to get more notification on what Process Art Discovery is doing.